Land encroachment by India deeply hurts the people of Nepal. Nepal has always been a sovereign nation. Once it used to be much larger than what it is today. At the end of the Anglo-Nepalese War, the Treaty of Sugauli, ratified on March the 4th, 1816, demarcated the current Nepalese border. The Anglo-Nepal War stopped the mighty British force from invasion and colonization. Nepal always remained independent, unlike the other South Asian countries colonized by the British.
Nepalese still view the Treaty of Sugauli as illegal and invalid since the then King of Nepal never really signed it. The treaty forced the country to give up almost one-third of its land. Earlier, Nepal's border extended from Tista in the east to the Kangada fort in the west. After the treaty, Nepal's western border extended to the Mechi River in the east and the origin of the Mahakali River in the west.
However, following the Indo-China War of 1962, in which India lost heavily against China, India started disputes with its smaller neighbors. Likewise, India has border disputes with Nepal in about 70 areas along the 1,816 kilometer long India-Nepal borderline. The major areas of dispute are Kalapani to Limpiadura, Susta along the Narayani river belt, Mechi and Tanakpur.
Tanakpur dispute. India built the Tanakpur barrage in the early 1990s using 29,000 square meters of Nepal's land despite the increasing opposition from many Nepalese. The dispute in the area has since grown intense. The general public in Nepal continues to believe that India abused its power to grab a strategic piece of Nepalese land to build a barrage only to its benefit.
Mechi dispute. India's disapproval of border pillars, commonly known as Jange pillars, erected by the British India following the Treaty of Sugauli, has caused the constant Mechi border dispute. India is unwilling to examine historical facts and figures. All it wants to do is grab our land by hook or by crook. Thousands of hectares of Nepalese land are at stake.
With India on its east, north and south side and Narayani on its west, Susta has become the target of Indian encroachment for decades. Over the past decades, the Narayani River has changed its course towards Nepal many times. India has been seizing the land on the other side of the river every time the river shifts its courses. So far, India has encroached about 145 square kilometers of Susta area in the east of the Narayani River. For decades, thousands of Nepali farmers in the Susta area have been harassed and beaten by Sasastra Seema Bal, SSB, one of the India's central armed police forces. So-called mighty India does not seem to care about poor farmers of its tiny neighboring country.
Kalapani dispute. Following the dispute of Indo-China War, India entered Nepal's territory, the Kalapani area, to monitor the activities of the Chinese army. Nepal's western border, as per the Sugauli Treaty, extends to Limpiadura, the origin of the Mahakali River. Limpiadura, Kalapani and Lipulek come within the territory of Nepal. Ignoring all historical records, India have been working since 1962 to shift Nepal's western border to the east of Kalapani. It has named a small local stream as the Kali River and termed it as the origin of Mahakali, so as to shift the Indo-Nepal west border, making the famous Lipulekh Pass, Kalapani and Limpiadura areas part of the Indian territory. With this encroachment, India has attempted to seize 395 square kilometers of Nepalese territory.
China has become a silent, do-nothing observer of India's encroachment of Nepal's 395 square kilometer land because it wants India to build 750 kilometer Delhi-Lipulekh highway to promote trade and commerce with India. It is pitiful that two powerful Asian countries do not respect the right of coexistence of smaller neighbors. One would not expect this kind of behavior in truly democratic nations. We never hear the United States of America trying to get hold of Mexican and Canadian lands, maybe because the US is truly a democratic nation.
There has been constant bullying and beating of Nepalese farmers in the southern and eastern borders by Sashastra Seema Bal, SSB, almost every other week. SSBs have been working with the Indian farmers to destroy the original border posts to seize the Nepalese land. This is beyond tolerance. A country that is in a chase to become the world's next superpower gets into these kind of inhumane activities and ignores human rights and international laws. This is infuriating. The way India bullies its tiny neighboring countries reflects that it has not lived up to the ancient Indian mantra of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, a Vedic philosophy that teaches the idea of the world as one family. If India continues its oppressive attitude, it will not be in the best interest of small South Asian nations to have India as a permanent member of the UN Security Council.